Hi, I'm Paul.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we make videos about old abandoned railways,
canals,
and other such routes. Join us on today's adventure, which includes
injured signalman,
2 accidents,
and naughty businessman.
Go.
Really lovely.
So, you join us today on the Salisbury and Dorset Junction Railway. It had a number of other names, but we're going to call it that. And we're heading from south to north, ticking off every disused station. It's a line we've been meaning to cover for quite a while, but a national shortage of fuel has meant in this country that we are doing things a little bit more local for the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Bit awkward. Are we actually on a public right of way, Rebecca, or not?
I'm not entirely sure. There's no signs, there's no fences. We're not.
But this is a very
jumped over anything.
Trodden.
It's a very well trodden pathway.
So I'm gonna take this as like permissive.
I would say so.
So the first stop of the day was Verwood Station. That is now a housing estate next to the Albion.
Yes, the pub.
Yeah.
Pretty little pub.
Very
Lovely
pretty.
little gardens and things.
Yeah.
Under the bridge as well.
Absolutely. I think we've come to the end of the line that we can walk on now, Rebecca, because there's a big old
like
fence. So second station of the day, I keep saying Daggons.
Yeah, it's not Dragons, there's no R.
Daggons.
Daggons.
Road Station, is that right?
Sorry, that scares a bird in the tree.
Station yard just down here, so I don't think there's anything left. Big biker event going on there, so excuse the noise in a minute.
Loads of them at the pub.
At first glance, Fordingbridge looks a bit rubbish. The whole of this industrial estate is where the yard and station used to be.
It's gone.
It's gone, but if you pop round this corner, you'll see something which is a bit of a hat tip to the railway. Why am I walking backwards? So we have ahead of us, what's it called, Rebecca?
It is the Railway Hotel, and it's a boutique hotel, restaurant and bar.
Lovely. Finally, we have some proper track bed to walk on. In the distance back there is Fordingbridge. We're now heading for Breamore. And I've passed Breamore 1,000 times, probably more, in the car. And I've never walked along this part of the track bed. And looking ahead of us now, it's lovely, isn't it?
It's very pretty.
Yeah. Opened in 1866. Took 6 years from the first meeting to have this line, which would connect Salisbury from Aldersbury Junction down to Westmoor Junction on the Southampton and Dorchester line. Now, you're the Salisbury and Dorset Junction Railway Company, and you've built this line.
Okay.
Are you happy?
I suppose so.
Excellent. You should be happy. You just built a railway. Why would you not be happy, Rebecca? You built a railway.
Yeah.
I'm going to run it because I'm London South Western Railway. I'm the railway giant.
Okay.
But I'll run it for you, right?
Yeah.
Got this covered.
Yeah, right.
So, what happened was I was a bit sneaky, and I only gave you 14 quid in the first 6 months to a year. And also, I was a bit sneaky because I didn't really want anyone to use this line. I wanted them to go on my track, my railways, because I'd make more money. So people that wanted to travel to, let's say, Bournemouth and that kind of area, I didn't issue tickets at Waterloo.
Well, that's naughty.
I know, I'm sorry.
You're not, though, are you?
Not really, no. Kind of weird, because I feel like we're going to walk through someone's garden.
Just feeling a bit like that.
Because they've got like football goals up and everything, but this is a pathway, right?
Path.
So with my deviousness,
I'm making no money.
you're making no money, which is good. That's exactly my plan. You're making no money. So within 20 years, I'm just going to buy you out and say, yeah, well, I'll have it. And all of a sudden, it's my railway. I'm going to make the profit from it if I decide to do that. This is Breamore, everybody. This is a significant tick on our list of stations to be ticked off.
Oh, it's lovely.
I'm still marvelling at that lovely bridgelet. Well, what did you find, Rebecca? What did you say?
Well, apparently when it was obviously closed,
Yep.
it was left to just decay and rot and fall down. But in 2005, the current owners decided to revamp it, and this is what it turned into. Amazing.
It's nearly October, so I feared the worst, but what a gorgeous day. This is a good summer's day.
It is lovely.
Breamore.
Breamore.
Do you want to sum it up in a couple of words? More than a couple of, sum it up in a couple of sentences. Go.
Really lovely.
So just back there is the River Avon and the point where this line crossed the River Avon, and now we're walking into Downton, the little village or town of Downton. We are getting to the point where there were 2 accidents within 20 years of each other. 1884, the 3rd of June, a passenger train leaves Salisbury, heads for Downton, picks up some passengers at Downton, and then continues its journey south. But almost immediately as it left the station, it picked up a bit too much speed for the line. It came around this curve we're on now, doing 45 miles an hour. A number of the pins came out of the chairs, and essentially it derailed. And it derailed into a ditch, killing a number of people. 3 people, I think, drowned,
Yep.
and 2 people died thereafter in Salisbury Infirmary, Salisbury Hospital. So 1884, we're now in the Avon Dyke, and we would have been 3 or 4 feet deep in water. So when the carriages came down here and crashed into here, you can understand why 3 people sadly lost their lives from drowning. One of which was the daughter of the station master back at Fordingbridge. Oh God, right. Onwards to Downton. So Downton was the site of another accident. Okay, so I did a terrible job of describing that in person, so let's use the ability to do some voiceover. A 16 van goods train is heading north. Now that's right on the wonderful graphic you see before you. It's running late and blocking passenger trains. So initially it needs to get out of the way of one that's also heading in the same direction. But there is an issue. It's too long for the loop at Downton. It therefore moves forward and allows a passenger train into the station. It then reverses backwards and allows a passenger train out of the front of the station and on north uninterrupted. Then comes the second issue. There is another passenger train due to be heading south, so the goods train has to now essentially complete that manoeuvre in the same way but backwards. So it lets in the train from the north into the station and then starts to move forward on its way. Now 2 errors occurred here. Number 1, the passenger train is allowed to move forward because it's in a hurry. Number 2, the last 3 cars of the freight train break free. Both of these factors cause the collision depicted once again in this wonderful graphic. I speak lightly about this accident, of course, because nobody was injured.
No fatalities.
No fatalities. That was 1904, and again they cited things like the coupling wasn't done properly, the signalman was to blame as well. So we just walked from Downton, the village on the border of the New Forest down there. Now the track bed there was around about 65 metres above sea level. And we are walking considerably uphill to about 95 metres. Now, that's too big for a cutting. And if you are one of our extremely long-term viewers, you'll know that in 2018 we did a video on the Downton Tunnel. Now, we didn't know how to research railways then or how to look for stuff, so we just said, oh, let's go find it. What we didn't realise, it was only 90 yards long. So imagine a 90-yard tunnel under this expanse of hill here. Well, the only solution is it has to have been buried along with its huge cuttings which were filled. And just there, I don't know how well the camera shows it, but that is a part of the original cutting. The tunnel was much further along. So let's walk across the top of this field because we're nearly at the end of the line. And you can probably see there's a big dip in the landscape. Well, that's where the tunnel would have started, probably about 50-60 yards further back that way. And again, only 90 yards long thereabouts. So massively infilled many years ago by whoever did it, the farmer or whoever it be. The end of the line was Aldersbury Junction.
Yes.
So Aldersbury Junction, now between Downton and Salisbury, was 8.5 miles. Now that 8.5 mile stretch, you could get quite a speed up in your train, and it was very tempting for the drivers to do just that. So bear in mind it's a single track line, therefore it's operated on a token system. Well, they didn't call it a token, they called it a something else, but yeah. Essentially it's a token system.
Yep.
And a number of occasions the guy in the Aldersbury signal box was injured by the token because the trains were going so fast they didn't want to slow down, and they had to put certain rulings in place. Yep. for that junction specifically, right?
Yep.
So this is the end of the line for us. It goes on another mile towards the end, Aldersbury Junction in the north, but a lot of that is under the A36. So we shall bid you farewell. Thank you very much for watching our travels. If you haven't already, press subscribe, and you like this kind of content, press subscribe, because we do weekly videos, 5 PM on a Sunday, abandoned railways, canals, and stuff like that.
And such like.
Addendum to the video, not an outtake, but an addendum.
Addendum?
The date today, Rebecca, is the 26th of the 9th, 2021. 22nd of the 9th, 2021. So someone's touched this up, done the pointing and all that, or brickwork just 4 days ago. How cool is that? Whee! That was nearly an outtake in the outtakes.
It was always an outtake in the outtakes.
Outtake in the outtakes. Right. Goodbye.